welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing the rear brakes on the Gladiator. So I got them from Rock Auto the other day. You can see right here the Econoline still behind me. It's still not a forgotten project. I've just been having to do a few things on the daily driver. I'm supposed to be having surgery soon. I'm waiting on the appointment to go see the neurosurgeon, so I need to get a couple of these things buttoned up on my daily driver. So whenever I decide, well, when they decide they're going to cut me open, everything's taken care of. But we'll go ahead and flip the camera. The Gladiator, I'm actually getting new tires for it today also. These have been really good tires. These are actually the Amp All-Terrain Attacks. You know, I've never used Amp before, but I got about 80,000 miles out of these. You know, they're about halfway wore out. So I came out today, I had a tire sitting on the rim. It ended up being the valve stem, so it's actually not the tire, but I decided to go ahead and do all new tires at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing jacked up, get my clothes changed, and go through, show you all how to do the brakes on this. I did change the front brakes the other day. It was going to rain really bad that day, so I just went ahead and knocked them out. It took me about 45 minutes to get it jacked up, get the brakes done, and get everything changed. It's a very quick process, pretty easy to do. But go ahead and stay tuned. I'm going to get this thing jacked up real quick and show you how to do the brakes on it. Alright, so I'm back out to the Jeep. These are some of my favorite jacks to use. They're jack stand with a built-in bottle jack. I'll include a link in the description below where you can actually get these. I've had these, I'd say, going on 5 or 6 years. And they're still wonderful jacks, but you know, it has the safety latch right here, so this is in the unlocked position. I'll click down here when it's locked. Just a really safe jack to use, especially on uneven surfaces anywhere in your driveway. I've had the Jeep sitting on all 4 of them before. It's really stable. They lock in, you know, adjustable right here, so you know, taller vehicles, stuff like that. But let me go ahead and get this thing jacked up, and we'll get the tire off, and I'll show you how we change these brakes. Alright, so I have the hood up. I got the reservoir cover off, so whenever I go ahead and compress the pistons back in, the fluid can go back up that way. If y'all don't have these hood struts, you want to get them. You know, I've had them on every one of my Jeeps. So right now my hood's unlatched and it just raises up no problem. You know, it makes it so much more convenient than dealing with that prop rod. For $100, it's one of the best investments you can get, you know, for your Gladiator, for your JK, JL, anything like that. They make them for all models. So I'll include a link below where to get these from. It's another Amazon find. You know, $100, easy install, 30 minutes, you know, something like that. It's just factory bolt down here. You just pull it, this clamps on, bolts in, and then you have 2 bolts right here and a little metal bar. It clips in behind it and it just tightens down. Very easy. 30 minutes is, you know, if you're taking your time. But go ahead and check out these links for these products, and we'll get started on these brakes. So I pulled out all the same tools that I did for the front brakes. I don't know if they're the right size, but my pistons and my calipers, I mean, aren't that bad. But I was having a slight braking issue, so I went ahead and changed them. So luckily this set screw comes out easy. You know, this isn't really necessary to put back in. You know, it's like what old school guys used to use, like when I was growing up. Just put a lug nut on, hold it back in. That bolt's not really necessary. I'm going to put mine back in, but you know, it's not a needed item. If you don't want to put it in, don't put it in. But you know, this brake, this looks pretty good. I was having some braking issues, hard to stop, you know, with these bigger upgraded tires and everything. So I'm just putting higher quality brakes and rotors on, you know, while I had it apart. So go ahead and keep watching. I'm going to get my camera set up on the tripod so y'all can see what I'm doing, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm back at it right now. So I got the thing, a brake cleaner, you know, a couple tools, very small amount of tools needed. So the back size uses different hardware than the front. The front's, I think, if I recall right, was a 13 mil and maybe, I don't remember, 18, 19, whatever it was. So first thing first, I'm going to pull these 2 bolts. I have a master caliper kit next to me. I'll show a picture of it in the end. Also include a link in the description where to get it. The one that I got comes with these little fancy dancy hangers so that you can hang your calipers up out of the way while you're working on your vehicle. So this just makes life a whole lot easier whenever you can get stuff out of your way without having to worry about it, you know, messing up on you. And then we'll get these two bolts pulled. So, you know, these two, I'm not going to put Loctite on these when I put them back together, but for the other two bolts that hold the actual bracket on, I'm going to Loctite them. So you just run the hook through here, hook it somewhere out of the way. So now it's out of the way. So now I got a little breaker bar with an 18 on it. Now that's, and then that right there's loose. And then we'll put this up on the top. Alright, the top's loose. Very simple install. These pads, like I said, they're still good. I might throw them in the garage with these rotors as like emergency backup if something happens, or if I got a buddy that's out somewhere and he ends up needing something. So, you know, these are still good. You know, I could take them down, get these rotors turned, which I probably will take them, get them turned, and just have a backup pair, because you never know when you're going to need them. You know, if something happens where you need them, and you know, if I have them turned, ready to go, sitting in the garage waiting for me. But the ones that I got are coated, so they're a whole lot better. All right, so this is, we're almost done, believe it or not, with this brake job. So we got this bolt out. I'm going to put medium Loctite on that whenever I put it back together. These pads, you know, they're looking good from here, but whenever I get them off, I might find a bad spot in them. You know, it was having an issue stopping. I just think it was a bad spot in the rotor, but we'll figure it out here in just a minute. I should have grabbed a ratchet wrench. That would have made that a whole lot easier. Back in my Navy days, they called them dog bones, but you know, so this is off. There's quite a bit of gunk around the pads, you know. The little spacers inside are pretty clogged up, but other than that, that's off. Take the rotor off, you know, that's off. The parking brake shoe over here, it looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it down with brake cleaner right quick, get everything cleaned up. I have 30 some cans of this brake cleaner in the garage. I always go to like discount stores and I look for stuff. So these typically cost me $2.50 to $3 a can. So anytime I buy them, I normally buy several cases of them, just so that, you know, you can use brake clean for practically anything. So if you're able to get some for a pretty good price, you might as well go ahead and pick it up. You know, I've used it all over the vehicles. You know, even sometimes when I'm doing body work, I'll clean the surface with it. You know, it's a whole lot cheaper than buying the prep stuff. So let me go inside, grab this rotor real quick, and we'll get this thing cleaned up, buttoned up, and ready to go. Alright, so I got these from Rock Auto, Bendix brakes, and then GCX coated rotors. Okay, let me try to get these open. I didn't bring a knife with me, but I'll just rip the box. You know, it's not like I'm keeping up the box. So these are fully coated rotors. Everything cost me less than 300 bucks. So these are pretty, you know, decent rotors. So I'm going to flip this one over, go ahead and spray the back down, get any oils off from the factory, and then I'll be careful when I handle it, and I'll spray the front down in just a minute. So I'm going to pick it up from the edge where I'm minimizing touching the back. I just so that's back on. Let me grab this little set screw. Like I said, you don't have to put this back in. I'm choosing to. So this screw goes back in. All right, so that's tight. Let me get this out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and spray the front down just to get any of the grease and oils off from the factory. And then I'll show you how to do the next side, but I'll do it from the front just so you have a better view. But Don't be afraid to use, as much of this as you want. It's cheap. Keep the brake pads clean, ready to go. So these are these brake pads. Alright, so anytime you buy a good brake pad, they come with new hardware. So I replace the clips, every time. This one comes with a bag of grease for the slide pins. So, you get yourself good quality parts. And it also came with a door hanger. I guess they want me to walk around and advertise for them. Hang this on the door. I guess this is for whenever you professionally install it, you hang it up on the rear view mirror. Just to let somebody know, because it has like a service date on there. So you just put it in the vehicle so you know when your brake pads are changed. So the front brake pads, 100% identical all the way around. It didn't matter which side went where. I'm spreading these out right now to look at them. Okay, it looks like the back ones are the same way. So what I like to do, let me reposition this camera right quick. So let's see here. Let me get that up there where you can see it, kind of trying to block it from the sun. While I'm doing that, I'm going to spray down the caliper real quick, just to get it clean. Alright, so you get new clips. With these, it doesn't, I normally just pop them out. They're a little dirty, but other than that, they're fairly decent pads. So these clips look like they're made. Yeah, these go all the way across. There shouldn't be an issue. These other ones, oh no, these other ones do too. They just didn't look like they did. So there are. Yeah, so you'll put these in. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let me move that out of the way. Grab the brake clean and spray it down real quick. So on this side, I've almost used a whole can of brake clean. I don't care how much I use, just want to have good clean parts. Let me go and clip that one off. Alright. And that grease goes right here for these slide pins. My slide pins, Alright, I might have found the problem why my brakes were messing up. This just turned into a big oh no. So the slide pin was completely stuck, not working. That might be why I was having a hang-up issue. So I'm fitting to go in, call the auto parts store right around the corner, see if I can get one ordered, make sure they have it in stock, and then I'll be right back. I'm going to start the other side though. Alright, so I'm back at the Jeep. So everything that could go wrong went wrong. So this slide pin was completely seized. I ended up drilling it out. The hole's slightly bigger than it's supposed to be. I've already went inside and ordered the proper bracket, but I went ahead and drilled it for now. Went down and got some slide pin bolts from the local Advanced Auto Parts. So any of you Jeep people, if you need them, the part number is 14243. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing extremely greased. I'm going to put tons of grease in here since the hole's slightly over large. This is just going to be a temp fix. I did order the bracket already. They only had it 3 hours away, so I just went ahead online and ordered it. And then let me get the rest of this put back together, get some more tools out, and I'll show you the rest of the process. I went ahead and did the driver's side off camera in case that one broke too. I just went ahead and made sure so I could order all the parts. That one went together in a matter of minutes. But let me get this side finished up, and then I'll finish recording the rest of the install. Alright, so I'm back over here at the Jeep. I got the bracket temporarily fixed. Like I said, I got one on order. Where you see all that anti-seize and stuff, I got grease on there too. That's just a temp fix just to get it where I can drive the vehicle. I'm going to get the bracket probably next week. It's on order, so I'm going to get this slapped up here. I don't have my tripod out here right now, so I'm going to see if I can do it without too much struggle. So we got that slapped up there, and then alright, so it's a little dark in here, but you can see here's the two bolts. I'm getting ready to tighten them up. Then I'm going to spray it with some brake clean again, just in case any of the anti-seize or anything got on anything while I was working. I don't want grease on like any of the mating surfaces, but let me get both of these tightened up right quick, and then I'll get the caliper back on, and this one will be done. And like I said, I'll be replacing this bracket with the proper one later. All right, so caliper bracket is mounted. I got my caliper right here. All right, right here's the master caliper kit. It comes with several pieces. It comes with like a left and right hand side adapters, a lot of different pieces. Some of these calipers actually twist in versus compress in. On the Jeep they compress. I don't quite have the right fitting to do this, but there are a lot of universal pieces in here, so I'm just going to use this little semi-circle shaped piece. And then let me go pop my hood and take my reservoir cap off. And the reservoir cap off's not 100% necessary, but it's good practice. So that's just something I've been doing, and that's how I was taught to do it. A lot of old timers do stuff different than these youngsters. So right here, just screwing this in, it's pushing the cylinder in. And then after the cylinder's pushed in, I'll be able to put this back on the vehicle. So right there, the cylinder's all the way in. The reason I take the cap off, because it back feeds the pressure and pushes, air out the top of the master cylinder. So this kit comes with these hooks. These hooks come in handy, so right now the slide pin, see this slide pin's in. This one's good to go. Got the new bolt. Well, I'm actually using the Mopar bolts, the original ones. And then alrighty, so we're almost done. Once I get these tight, I'm going to tighten this one that I had to kind of make work first, because the hole's not perfectly centered. It's pretty close, but it's not perfect. That's why I went ahead and ordered the new bracket. If I would have taken this to my buddy's shop and we could have put it on the milling machine, it would have, we could have made it perfect. But he's not going to be there till about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I was trying to get this done because I'm supposed to be picking up my tires soon, and I'm either going to get them installed tonight or tomorrow morning. It just depends on what time I actually get to them. But right now the brakes are pretty much done. I am going to do a full bleed, but instead of a full bleed, I'm actually going to replace all of my fluid. It's .3, .4. It absorbs water. .5 is silicone based. It doesn't absorb water, so it's a good practice to change your brake fluid periodically, because it rusts, corrodes, inside your lines, inside your calipers get all rusted and corroded. So go ahead and like, follow, share. Check out some of the links below if you want like the master brake kit, if you need the jacks that I use, or any of the other parts I'm going to have listed. So like, follow, share, and hopefully tomorrow or the next day I get the new tires on. My tire guy called me a little bit ago and said that he's having a hard time getting the ones I wanted, so he's looking at getting me some Nittos instead. So we'll see exactly which one I get. I'm fine with the Nittos or the whatever ones he can get me, as long as they're good tires. So go ahead and check out the rest of my videos, and we'll catch you on the next one.